Yo, what is going on, everybody? My name is Alan and this is Project Elevate, and today I want to talk to you about something that's been bothering me the entire season pretty much, and it's basically tiers and card structures. What kind of cards get certain tiers, how tiers are structured at the beginning, middle, and the end game, and how I think that it could be better balanced so that we have a better experience going forward, and it kind of just makes more sense. Okay, so let's take a look at this here. We have Jerry West, who was a reward card from the very beginning. He was available day one on the token reward player board. Tony Allen, who was a player for a spotlight sim at the very end of the year. Some mid-range cards, some endgame cards, and they're kind of like sprinkled across. Now let's go ahead and take a look at all of them. So basically my issue is that tiers really don't mean anything in NBA 2K. Cards that are released early on are falsified. Let's take a look at this Jerry West. So day one card. And he has 3 Hall of Fame badges, 30 gold badges, including Steady Shooter, Clutch Shooter, and Difficult Shots. So we all know what Steady Shooter does, but that's a different topic for a different day. So basically, this guy here, his attributes, they're okay, but he's got a lot of holes in his game, doesn't have the badges to back him up. And let's take a look at George Hill, who was released about mid-season, not even towards the very end of the year, but kind of like middle end. So he has 27 Hall of Fame badges, 18 gold badges. His stats are way more juiced. He can do a lot more on the court. All right, so now let's take a look at Sean Kemp. Sean Kemp was the reward player for completing all-time domination, man. So you had to go through regular domination, historic domination, and all-time domination to get this Sean Kemp card. All to get 3 Hall of Fame badges and 9 gold badges, 12 badges in total. Card that really couldn't do much. He had a 75 3-point shot, a 96 dunk, 62 ball handle, perimeter defense of 53, speed of 78. So as you can see, this card was pretty much unusable from the very beginning. This is definitely not a pink diamond. You have a guy like Brent Berry. And actually, Brent Berry's a guy that I think was done pretty well. 26 Hall of Fame badges. Obviously, he was released much later on. Compared to that Sean Kemp, huge discrepancy in how it goes. But this is a card that actually I think was done pretty good. Brent Berry, at kind of the peak of his game, was probably about a 95 diamond tier player. They did a pretty good job of making him kind of like true to his best form, and I like that, you know? Whereas a guy like Tony Allen or Kyle Anderson, like, they are not Galaxy Opals. They should never receive a Galaxy Opal. I don't know why 2K does it. Just give players Galaxy Opals just to give them Galaxy Opals. Now, obviously, this card was released, just a week ago or so. So it's very end game. It's kind of like, who cares? But still, they were kind of like breaking their own structures and just making everything completely meaningless. Kyle Anderson should never have a card that's better than Jerry West, or a card that's better than some of these other guys, that have played the game to such a high level. Throughout the year, we got cards like Eddie Curry. Now, Eddie Curry, we all know, if you're a basketball fan and you kind of watch Eddie Curry play, like on his best day, like he was not this good at all. And basically we're in the realm of just like total fantasy cards here. 85 3-point shot, the handles were crazy, the dribble sigs were crazy. It was a really good card, fun card to use, but just like, what are we doing when we have cards like this, like an Eddie Curry, that are better than, like a Ruby Wilt Chamberlain or something that gets released earlier on in the year? I would much rather them save certain cards for later on in the year and give them like their true form. Or if you want to do something where you want to release cards early, I think what they did last year in 2K19 is they released a rookie set. So basically, like, it's that player as a rookie, and Kobe was a Sapphire, Larry Bird was a Ruby, guys like David Robinson was an Amethyst. So if you want to give us a specific era and give us a little bit more detail on what version of that player you're giving us at that tier, then it kind of all makes sense, because like using a prime Vince Carter and he's like an Amethyst, like that guy came into the league on fire. He was a beast from the get-go. There's no reason why like we should have a Toronto Raptors Vince Carter card that's like a Ruby or an Amethyst. Like, don't do things like that. Give us a card that's like good when when it's appropriate. All right, I want to take a look at these 2 point guards here. Nick Van Exel, who was released very, very early on, and Isaac Bonga, who was released mid second half of the year. So Nick Van Exel, Amethyst player, 0 Hall of Fame badges, 33 gold badges. Some of his stats, 89 3-point shot. And for Nick Van Exel, I mean, he was a pretty good shooter. 89 might actually be kind of realistic for him if you scale that. They gave him good speed. Defense was not that great. Then you have a guy like Isaac Bonga, and obviously this is fan favorites. This is like 2K's like fantasy, where we got like a Bull, we got a Taco Fall, we got a Galaxy Opal Alex Caruso. But my point is kind of like, these are both Amethyst cards, 18 Hall of Fame, 27 gold badges, pretty much everything that you could possibly want in a card. This was a phenomenal card, totally unrealistic, but phenomenal. Now, I'm kind of okay. Like last year, they released a Pink Diamond Isaac Bonga at the very end of the year. And I'm kind of okay with that. Once like the season's over and you just kind of like really want to go into fantasy realm, that's cool. I'm okay with you, bending those a little bit throughout the season though. Like the structure of stuff is just, it's all out of whack. And my biggest issue isn't even like the super unrealistic cards, because I know they kind of have to push the meta somehow to kind of outdo themselves. They're kind of on that, that I need a bigger fix type of mentality. But my biggest issue is just don't give us Galaxy Opals at the beginning. Don't give us Pink Diamonds at the very beginning if they're not going to be truly Galaxy Opals or Pink Diamonds. And then the other big point is that don't give Galaxy Opals to players that don't deserve at all, like in the farthest stretch of the imagination. Cap those guys at like diamonds, make them a little bit more juiced, but I don't need a Kyle Anderson Galaxy Opal in 2K. That's just, we can't be comparing Kyle Anderson. No disrespect to Kyle Anderson, but we can't be comparing Kyle Anderson to like a James Worthy having a better card than this Jerry West, stuff like that. The other thing here, like obviously this Yao Ming came out very late in the year, and it's just past the point of ridiculousness. And they had to kind of outdo themselves with Kareem. But 2K really needs to figure out a way to make cards effective using their real life strengths. I mean, a guy like Yao should never really be like this juice, because I mean, he was a good player, but he was definitely not in the upper echelon of all-time greats by any stretch of the imagination, which is another topic with these GOAT cards. For him to have a 97.3 and 97 speed with ball, all that type of stuff, that just goes out of the realm. You can say the same thing for Shaq. Now Shaq is a very interesting person, because obviously Shaq would have some struggles in today's NBA, based on like the stretch game and the threes or nothing type of mentality. But at the same time, Shaq was such a dominant force that like, who would hold that man today, If 2K actually gave us a game that allowed us to take advantage of the quickness and strength combination of a Shaquille O'Neal, versus a guy like Kristaps Porzingis who can stretch the floor, and Shaq would have a difficult time guarding him. But there's a give and take. There's a plus and a minus to like running certain lineups. That would make for a much better experience overall for the 2K community, where we have to kind of like play chess with each other and think a couple steps ahead and counteract and make different moves strategically to counter a certain lineup. This year's 2K was completely just meta oriented. As the meta evolved, basically a few cards fit that current meta and everybody else just kind of like fell off and were basically unusable. And it just kind of continued to get more extreme and more extreme as the year progressed. Now my team tends to do that, obviously, towards the end of the year. It gets more extreme. Everybody can shoot. Everybody has Hall of Fame this and that and whatever. But I can encourage 2K to take a different approach. Get a little bit more creative with how you make cards effective. That way we have more variety in the lineup choices that we can make. We can run certain teams. I mean, I had a lot of fun running teams like this year. And, there were some games where I would get a decent matchup and it was a competitive game. Win or lose, it was a fun game to play. And then there was times when matchmaking would just, give me crazy meta cards and it would just be a blowout. But I had a lot of fun using a guy like Luke Longley who couldn't shoot from the outside. So I had to work for my garbage buckets inside. I had to, get the rebounds. I had to make him valuable by him doing different types of things than just like the meta. Like I have a 10-man lineup that everybody can do the exact same thing. Like what fun and strategy is there in that? Even if I win by like 20 points, I'm not having fun doing the same thing over and over again. 5 out, pick and roll, cheese, pick and pop, off ball play. It's like the meta is just too stagnant. There's not enough variety in what we're doing. All right, guys. So I don't want to get into a crazy rant, but I definitely wanted to voice my opinion on the tier structures. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section. Are you guys happy with having just, 5 players that can do everything? A Steph Curry that can just dunk over everybody, a Shaquille O'Neal who can shoot the 3 even though his jump shots still broken, Yao Ming who can do everything? Or would you guys like to see, these cards be overpowered in their own type of way, Let me know in the comments. Drop a like if you enjoyed this discussion and want to see more improvements going forward. Subscribe if you want to see more content like this. My name is Alan. This is Project Elevate. Till next time, elevate your grind, your game, yourselves, and each other. Peace.